It's afternoon where I'm at. I want to wish everybody a good afternoon. Okay, so the word has come down that Sunday may be the last day for TikTok. So I wanted to go out swinging with both fucking hands. My heart is broken because we have failed our young brothers and sisters in the street. And we are only as strong as our weakest link as African American people in the United States, to the people in the diaspora in Africa, wherever there are African or African related people in this planet, we have an obligation to speak truth to power. There's certain groups of people on this planet that fuck people over. And we're just another grouping within the larger group of class. Because racism and classism are bed buddies. They work in conjunction with one another, especially in this country, but in the world. I need for the young brothers that got that thing and they want to go out there and pew, 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 pew all over the place, to open your eyes and your mind and your spirit to the fact they turned you into this right here. So we're going to play this and then we'll watch and discuss. This is the history of Black people in the United States. And this is just one place at one time in Tampa, Florida, back in the day.
Initially, sleep apnea was thought to be primarily caused by excess weight and defects in one's nasal canals. Recent studies have revealed that one of the significant causes.
It's a dark chapter in our country's past. We are talking about lynchings, and Florida was one of the worst offenders. Today, there's a new effort to honor local victims of these hate crimes. 10 News reporter Emerald Morrow spoke to the people behind the effort and why they say now is the time to have this difficult conversation.
I believe there's a lot of greatness in our country.
That man's body's been burned.
Between 1882 and 1968, the NAACP says the U.S. had more than 4,000 lynchings.
The conscience, but it shouldn't surprise us. If you know our history, you know that these things happen.
According to the Equal Justice Initiative, Florida had 315. It even happened in Hillsborough County.
From the end of Reconstruction to about the 1930s, 5 individuals who were African American were lynched on account of the fact that they were Black.
There was a man only known as Galloway. Then there was John Croom, Lewis Jackson, Samuel Arline, Robert Johnson.
It's critical that we memorialize history and try to understand where we've been so that we can better understand where we are.
Today, there's a new effort to honor those victims with a marker like this in Tampa. Viera State Representative Fentrice Driscoll and Stetson Law Professor Tammy Bryant Spratling are behind the mission. They spoke to a curious crowd this morning at Cafe Contampa.
These victims have never had the opportunity to be recognized. They don't even have the privilege of being in public records because they were taken out of the legal system.
To get the marker, leaders are working through the Equal Justice Initiative, which already has memorials for lynching victims in its Montgomery Museum.
The racial intolerance that we're seeing in dialogues present day really can trace back to our history and not having truly dealt with that history. So this is a part of opening up conversations so that we can have more healing and understanding.
And we're gonna freeze right there. And I want you to take a good long look. There's people that are up in the fucking trees to see the spectacle of this Black man who has been lynched and burned. In a lot of cases, when you do a deep dive into the history of lynchings and where they have taken place and what the circumstances, you know what they say, the devil is in the details of how and what has happened to people. They cut somebody's genitals off. In one picture that I saw, which will haunt me for my whole life, when I was about 13 years old, looking through a book called The Black Book. This book was put together with archived photos of lynchings and of horrible shit that happened to black people across the whole United States. They give a number of 4,000. That's probably recorded. My guess is it's probably triple or quadruple that. And to this very day, there's odd deaths and people that live out in a country area in the South, and they're a truck driver. These young kids is out in the woods somewhere, and somehow they end up being lynched. So I think that that's something that is in the fabric of American hatred and racism. Now, why do I bring all this up? Because we're going to switch pretty soon to another photo. YouTube is filled with videos, mostly from local news agencies, showing black people shooting other black people. Or the cleanup squad after somebody goes to a party and shoots everybody up. Or a celebration, even to the Kansas City Chiefs. And who was it? A young brother that decided to come to the middle of the Chiefs parade and deal with his ops. They want you to do that. Now, the previous video that I showed you of the people hanging a black person and burning them, they have screwed your head on and off like a light bulb. All you young brothers that are gangbangers, in and out of prison, got guns, shooting each other, they want you to do that. Every time, it's like, it'd be similar to dying, what they say, from 1,000 small cuts. That's what's happened to our community now. Instead of them mainlining the situation and coming into your neighborhood and yanking you out of bed and hanging you from the nearest tree, they give you this, they give you ignorance, they give you self-hate. So now, the person that's your true opposition, the one that made sure that the federal funds were cut from your community so you could go and learn something, so you could have a job. Because those are all the things they don't want you to do. If you start to prosper a little bit, that means you're going to have children. And if you have children, that means the population is going to grow. They sat back for a long time and said, how can we decrease the population? And now they put the decreasing of the population in your hands, knowing that with the level of ignorance you got, with the lack of understanding of what the bigger system is doing to you, the fact that even when some people are told this right in the community, they go, I don't give a fuck, I'm doing what I want to do. They got you. You're the same as the white dudes that was hanging the black dude from the tree, except you're doing it to yourself. And it happens over and over again. If you took ChatGPT and you asked it, 100,000 black people have killed another 100,000 black people, let's say in the last 10 years across the whole United States, that probably wouldn't be a conservative number. And why? Oh, well, I'm a gangbanger. I'm in the set. This dude took my girlfriend. All the bullshit answers you want to say, the white people that are providing and making sure the guns get in your neighborhood, the white judges that are like at H-Town where somebody attempts murder and then they let them bond out. Why do you think they're letting you bond out, dummy? So that you'll go do it again. Now, you're not going to have any kids because you're either dead or you're in prison. The person that you killed or persons that you killed, they're not going to have any kids. And now when you do the math to all the cities, Memphis, Chicago, all these areas, you now got a situation where they're like, yeah, another one down, another one down. Plus, there may be a strong evidence if it ever was investigated. If you investigate how the guns get into the black community, how the drugs get into the black community, how people get taken out of jail and allowed to run in the street, to the lack of opportunity and organizations that have been here for almost 100 years that do nothing but sit on their hands, like the NAACP, the Urban League. You got little pockets of resistance with people that are tired of the violence. My understanding is there's an area up in Baltimore or Detroit where they shut it down completely. But we need this for the whole nation. And make a 180-degree turn. Utilize your cell phone to start making some smart money moves. And they're all legal. $5, $10 a day. You do $5 a day for 360 days into a savings account or an investment account. That's $1,800. If you do $10 a day, well, then you do the math. You know what I'm saying? And it begins as small as that, but also cooperation with each other, learning to respect each other, building a family, taking care of a family. They hate that shit. And every one of you brothers out here, that you killing somebody, you're doing the work of your true ops. The people that have money, most of them white, that want you dead. They want you dead and buried. But they're gonna monetize you along the way. You're a commodity, just like you were when you were a slave. They tell you, yeah, go out there, make your drill rap. Who you think's putting money into drill rap? They want you to have, dude showed up somewhere in Chicago or Detroit pissing on the guy's grave. That's not entertainment. That's psychosis, man. That's psychosis. And you learned it from the best people that are most psychopathic killers in the history and annals of America. And that is a lot of people that come from the European continent that came here and they saw this skin and they lost it. We have to change our thinking. And you young brothers out there, all you got to do is open up your phone. You can find these same fucking videos and pictures from the past and our present. There's no reason for Nipsey Hussle to be dead. There's no reason for the countless brothers that are rappers who've gotten killed from somebody else. All this fighting over crumbs while they steal everything up on top. You have to open your eyes. You got a homework assignment to learn your own history, to understand who it is that's your real opposition, to get involved in your local politics, to fly straight and learn something and to work with other brothers and sisters to build something more than a burnt out block with brothers hanging out in front of a building, usually a liquor store or bodega, the same one that now that you've grown up in, that now you're going to come in there and rob. And a lot of those people that are in there, and you have to wonder, I don't care what city I've ever been in, it's always an Indian dude that runs a bodega or something in the community, you know, a little corner store. Why is that? If it's all black people living there, how come black people are not running it? Another part of the bullshit that's taken place in this country all these years. And I need you, the brother with all the tattoos, the brother with the blunt that gets up in the morning and is smoking a blunt, the brother with the fucking pants hanging down, the brother that doesn't even know how to put a fucking holster in his pants so it gets shot himself in the leg on the podcast. All this shit to open your eyes in 2025 and realize that we are, there's a portion of our community destroying stuff. And you guys come from kings. You come from amazing people. That's why you're still strong in your physicality a lot of times, but not in your mentality, not in your spirituality. And they want this. They got people that are trying to make private prisons. So if the private prisons are happening now, I'm guessing that somebody says, you know, we got to keep them drugs coming in there. We got to keep these guns coming in there. We got to keep pumping up the stuff that's negative in the community. And we got to keep you ignorant of your situation. They clone Tyrone. They clone Tyrone. Watch it over and over again, and you finally realize if you're in the hood and you got a gun and you shooting other black people, you're robbing other black people, you're doing home invasions, they got you. They got you where they want you. Open your eyes, my brothers. And there's a bunch of shit that you could do. But you're going to have to deal with something that might be very painful for a lot of young brothers out there that commit crime. You got to just get on board with the rest of us, man. Yo, I worked a security job that was shit when I was a young man. It was in New York. The company probably doesn't even exist anymore. But the letters, the company letters was IBPI. I never forget because the other people that I was working with were black, Puerto Rican dudes and shit, guys from the Bronx, Brooklyn, wherever. And they used to make a joke that IBPI standing for Idiots, Blacks, and Puerto Ricans, Inc. because we the only motherfuckers who's working for them. $4.76 an hour. Chicken feed money. But everybody got to start somewhere. You start building up your cash. You start getting a little something. I had a hoopty. It didn't even have reverse. I had to park it on a hill so that when I started the car, I could just throw it in neutral and I would do this goosh, 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 basically bumping the car in the front and the back to get the fuck out of the parking spot. Ridiculous. But I'm not trying to take nothing from any other brothers and sisters. And a sister that lived in the building, beautiful sister, I don't remember her name, it's been so many years ago, gave me the form for working at the post office. Now we got young brothers that are so into scamming that they go to the post office where they can have a career with money that you would not believe you could be making. And they have an investment program that is, if you do it right, after 20 years, you damn near have $1 million in this investment account if you do it right. What y'all do? You got the young brothers and sisters that show up at the post office and they start stealing mail. Guess what? You're doing what they want you to do. You're being what they want you to be. You know, I always look at the comments. My girlfriend taught me how to look at the comments. And I never really stopped to really look at the comments. But when you start looking at the comments, what do they say? The usual suspects. Now, when the fire was going on in Los Angeles, there's a community I did not even know existed called Altadena. And Altadena was originally started by the white dude, John Brown, that led the slave rebellion against the white people to put so much fear in them. They had one little rebellion, which they crushed basically. And they were on a tear where they were killing black people like crazy. Because one, they know that what they're doing is actually wrong. Whether they admit it to themselves or not, or privately, or whatever. Two, they know if they were on the other side of the coin, they'd be looking to cut some heads off themselves. And three, once you raise up under the yoke, once you throw the yoke off, now that makes you a difficult person to deal with now, because you're not subjugated by religion, you're not subjugated by lies, you live in the light of truth. Brothers out here, you're not gonna like this message. You're gonna be mad. You got your tattoos, you got your saggy pants, you point your guns. You're stupid. You're the new Ku Klux Klan. And they got you just where they want you. Right there, steeped in a ball of ignorance and anger and frustration. And what do? You take it out on your women. You take it out on your kids. You don't take care of your kids. And there's brothers and sisters that live in the hood for sure that do take care of their family and they do take care of their kids. And they're at risk because Pookie hater over here or Ray hater over here might put a bullet in your ass if you're trying to do the right thing. I got a brother I know from Chicago that I work with. He told me he had to move out of the South Side because these Negroes was telling him, yo, who do you think you are? You got these two jobs. He had 4 kids. He was trying to take care of them. He had literally had to move out of Chicago and downstate and come and work. And then even when he was down here, this dude would do like a 12-hour day. And then on his layoff day, he was working down the street from the job in a gas station corner store to make even more money. I don't think the man got more than 4 hours sleep a day. 5 at best for the kind of hours that he was putting in. Sometimes he was working that job before he went to the other job. But imagine if all the people that in these different communities, instead of killing each other, started slowly but surely working together. All I ask you to do is take a holiday off from shooting up your whole communities and areas. Philly, Chicago, everywhere we go, Dallas, Houston, H-Town, Jesus Christ. Every time I look up, somebody's shooting somebody else down there for some old bullshit. You got to open your eyes to the fact that this is what they want you to fucking do. I got Malcolm on my shirt today. And he's got so many great speeches. And if you go down that rabbit hole, you got to come out on the other side understanding what it was he's talking about. And how he got betrayed by his own brothers and sisters because he realized that it was bigger than just race. It's class too, man. You know, white people that are poor and live in the holler. This is why Martin Luther King had to go in the minds of these fucking white fucking racist motherfuckers that control the system. They had to get rid of him because he went to Appalachia and he told them, y'all are niggas too. And for the first time, a light bulb went off in these white folks' head. I'm not better than this man because I'm just as poor as you. This is what I need to get these people that are the MAGA psychopaths that scream all this crazy shit out to open your eyes and realize if they're fucking us, they're fucking you too. Because it's class. And then they use race as a way to make this white guy over here that doesn't have anything hate on the black guy that doesn't have anything. And the black people are so screwed up, they don't have enough sense to hate on the white guy that doesn't have anything. They hate on the other black guy that don't have anything. To the point, arguments, fights, shootings all the fucking time. I remember when the stimulus packages were talked about, which weren't shit. They were pathetic. And this young man in Indianapolis killed his whole family, like 5 people, over the stimulus money they hadn't even gotten yet. It was $1,200. $1,200. He killed his own family, man. Brothers, sisters, we have a choice to make. You have to open your eyes if you live in these communities. And your presence together doesn't have to be a negative. It could be turned into a positive almost overnight. All you have to do is change your fucking thinking, to do some research, to have some meetings among each other on ways that you can make money, ways that you can do the old school barter system. There's a lot of good dirt that's in our communities. That's where the community gardens come in. When somebody knows how to fix people's cars and you know how to fix some shit in the house, you trade that so that you can fix up your cribs and whatnot. Put value back into your houses. Take time to turn off all your devices and just open up a book. And then your health. The sugar, all the bullshit in the community. There's ways to work around it, and you can go right into that same store. You can get yourself some peanuts. You can get a drink that's more of a healthy drink that's in there. You can make shit at home, which is really what you want to do, and not eat all this shit because it fucks with your brain. All that sugar, all that fat, all that crazy ass shit. And that's because they want you to die. Die by your own food poisoning. Die by your own ignorance. Die by alcohol and drugs. You know, hey, I like to smoke a J just like the next guy or gal. But there's sometimes you got to have some clarity, man. You know, you can't be blunted out every day. And yo, once you got some good smoke, if you take 2 or 3 hits, put the motherfucker out. Smoking the whole thing just gets you ossified, but you really don't get that much higher. You just get ossified. Old school, ossified. What the fuck, man? Snap out of it, man. The creativities that's in our community, the energy that is there. You know, I heard a person say that when white people fail in business or something goes wrong, they kill themselves. There's some truth to that because they don't know what it's like to struggle on a day-to-day basis. They've been happy getting a bunch of shit that they may or may not have fucking earned. But for people that live in the fucking hood, it's a fucking daily struggle. But you can change that shit by calming down the violence. And then let's start talking to each other. Let's start communicating and building something out of the ashes of their fucking hatred and our own fucking ignorance and not realizing just how serious they are about getting rid of you. They want to get rid of us in the most fucking ardent way, man. You know, you look at the Planned Parenthood. Planned Parenthood started because black women were having too many babies in the 1920s. They fucking hated it. And now the irony is that, as Malcolm has said, the chickens have come home to roost for white people that now are afraid that they're going to become the lesser part of the population. And of course, the biggest growers are the Spanish and Latin people that are in this country that come from Mexico, all of South America. But our numbers as black people, black Americans, are going down because of the amount of violence is there. And if you could stop that today, I ask and beg you, brothers and sisters, do not go out in the street and kill each other. Get together and try to learn from each other. Stop fighting each other and find a way to work together. And when you go back in history, Tulsa was what it was before the friggin' asshole white fucks dropped bombs on these people and burned out their houses. They're working together. We need to bring that back. And then take some of what we have in modern time and add to it. And don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, as they say. If there's some white motherfuckers that are genuine and want to fucking help, you can let them help. But we fucking call the shots in our own fucking community. And there's an opportunity to do that even now, to recover from all this death and destruction. Brothers and sisters have been fucked over by this fucking government and by these clowns in Washington, D.C. for years. Now it's time to replace them with people that will actually do something for you. Not a guy who pretends like he's from fucking Chicago. So I could go with this shit all day, but being that they're getting ready to do what they're going to do with TikTok and this and that, I just wanted to put a message out there to my beautiful brothers and sisters. No matter where you live, you got G money, you know, try to help organizations that are legitimate, you know. If you are middle class, keep trying to grind through and work and do what you need to do. You working class, keep doing the same thing. But I'm mainly talking to the brothers and sisters in the street that keep going to prison, keep committing crime, and keep shooting and killing each other. It has to stop. And you have to have the understanding to fucking stop it. Because if you don't, as I've said many times before, when you watch science fiction movies and ain't no black people in it, you know why? Because y'all done fucking killed each other so much, there's nobody left. We have to stop. We have to open our eyes. Your homework assignment is all of Black history from good sources. Your assignment is to go on YouTube and look at all these videos of all the violence, so you realize it's just not in your one little space, but it's all over. Your assignment is to find out mathematically, if you put together all these deaths of all the children that weren't born because you are fucking death condom in your community. You are the Ku Klux Klan. You're the new Ku Klux Klan, and white people are laughing their ass off every time you, the guy in the hood, takes a gun out and kills another Black person. You're the new Ku Klux Klan. So, I'll leave you with Malcolm's words. If you stand for nothing, you'll fall for anything. So you got to stand for something. Stand for yourself. Stand for your community. Stand for the history of the people that went through hell. You at home playing GTA with a blunt in your mouth, and then you get a gun and go out the street and shoot somebody over nothing, or for pennies on the dollar, jumping over fucking counter space. I saw these 3 knuckleheads the other day, and they took the garbage can and started filling it up with cigarettes. Whoa! Oh my God! You know, your big boost for the night is I don't know, $200 split between 3 people. You can work a regular job and make that easily. And if you start using your creativity that you've been born with, you could do something better. Not everybody's going to be a rapper. Not everybody's going to be a basketball player or football player. There's a lot of other needs out there. You look and you get together. You find an older brother that maybe was a good auto mechanic to start teaching some classes on the side in the community. Show people how to do shit. But we have to work together, and we can't do it if there's pervasive fear and killing in the community. Stand for something. Stand for your Blackness. Stand for the history. There's a rich history of African American people. I wish peace, love, and understanding to the whole world, but especially to my Black brothers and sisters that are in the hood trying to do the right thing, and the brothers and sisters out there that are doing the wrong thing, but can change. Shit, I was on such a roll, I forgot one thing to say when I mentioned Altadena earlier in the other portion, that John Brown came from the East Coast. I think all that stuff happened in Harper's Ferry, Virginia. And I don't know how they managed to do it, but they managed to make a sojourn all the way from the East Coast in Virginia all the way to California, where they settled into this little spot called Altadena, which I did not know at all until I saw a local LA news report about the fire, and that the vast majority of people live in this area. A lot of them are Black that lost their homes. And I hope and pray to God that they are able to get their monies from these scumbag insurance companies and be able to build. I wish that for everybody over there. It's a horrible, horrible event. But there is a true history. And this is why it's important to read books, to learn history, to have an understanding. And the dots begin to connect. The dots between the drugs that came from Ronald Reagan and the Iran-Contra program. If you read Gary Webb's book, they killed the guy. You know, you get to have an understanding of how it is that we got to where we got. And by understanding that, then the idea is that you don't make the same fucking mistake. All right? You know, all those drugs came in the 80s and 90s, and the whole crack scourge, that took out like 2 generations of Black people in the hoods across the United States. And a lot of other people that were living in nice communities, and they lost everything because they got hooked out on that fucked up drug. So just want to throw that in there for you to understand that history. Look that history up. It's important. Martial arts, I highly recommend for the Black community to find a path towards getting your mental self together, putting the yin and yang together, that you see in many martial arts schools. What is that? Light and dark, soft and hard, the yin and the yang. That means you take care of your kids and treat them nice. But that means when you go out on the street, if somebody's fucking with you, you fuck them up. You protect your family, you protect the women, you square shit up. They want you to do the opposite. And there's so many brothers out there that are coming out of these communities that are running head first into being a psychopath, of shooting people at any fucking moment, of getting mad over the littlest fucking thing. You know, micro transgressions turn into somebody fucking dying. We have to fucking stop it. So, positivity, peace, love, understanding, 180-degree turn. Do your homework. Watch They Clone Tyrone. If you're in the hood, if you got them gang symbols on you, if you've been in and out of jail, your number one job is to watch They Clone Tyrone over and over again till you realize they're trying to make you Tyrone, or they already have. They made you Tyrone. And now you can change that. You can change that if you want to. You can absolutely change it. And you got your arms, you got your legs, you got your brain, you can see, you can hear, you can talk. You can change it.